Denise Richards didn't just walk into a courtroom, she stepped straight into the middle of a Hollywood battlefield. What was once a glamorous marriage to actor Phypers has now exploded into a scandal packed with restraining orders, jaw-dropping accusations, and bitter betrayals that no one saw coming. The headlines may read like just another celebrity split, but behind those cold legal documents lies a war where reputations, secrets, and even beloved pets are all at stake. On one side, Denise, known to millions as a former Bond girl, reality TV star, and one-time queen of Hollywood glamour. On the other, Phypers, her husband of 7 years, a man now painted by Denise as an abuser and manipulator, while he fires back with claims that she's the one hiding dark truths. It's not just divorce papers being traded here. It's restraining orders, claims of stolen laptops, accusations of addiction, and even emotional battles over dogs caught in the crossfire. And the timing couldn't be more volatile. Just days after Aaron officially filed for divorce, Denise stormed back with explosive allegations, setting the stage for one of the most dramatic Hollywood breakups in recent memory. Courtrooms have now become their stage, and each filing is another episode in a saga that feels less like a legal procedure and more like a primetime drama. But this isn't scripted television. This is Denise Richards' real life. And the question isn't just who will win the divorce. It's who will survive the fallout. Long before restraining orders and courtroom showdowns, Denise Richards and Phypers' story looked like the perfect Hollywood romance. They met in the mid-2010s, when Denise was already a household name and actress who had gone from Bond girl to reality star, with her share of public battles, including her turbulent marriage to Charlie Sheen. Aaron, meanwhile, was a chiropractor turned actor, known for his rugged looks and a quiet charm that seemed to balance Denise's fiery spirit. Their connection was instant. By 2018, after a whirlwind courtship, the two tied the knot in an intimate Malibu ceremony, with cameras rolling for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Fans saw Denise glowing in her gown, the couple exchanging vows by the ocean, and the promise of a new chapter filled with love and stability. On screen, it looked like a fairy tale. Off-screen, friends said Denise was convinced she had finally found her safe place after years of chaos. But in hindsight, the cracks were already there. Rumors swirled about Aaron's temper, whispers that Denise was too quick to forgive red flags, and subtle tensions that fans picked up on during the show. Their marriage was often described as passionate, but passion can burn both ways, love one minute, conflict the next. Now, with accusations flying from both sides, that Malibu wedding feels like a distant memory. The vows of forever have been replaced with legal filings, and the safe haven Denise thought she found has transformed into the very battlefield she's fighting to escape. What once looked like destiny now reads like a cautionary tale, a love story that was already falling apart long before the cameras stopped rolling. The official unraveling of Denise Richards and Phypers' marriage began on July 7, 2025. That's when Aaron quietly filed for divorce in Los Angeles County, citing the most common phrase in Hollywood breakups: irreconcilable differences. On paper, it looks straightforward. No dramatic detail, just another star couple calling it quits. But within days, the calm filing exploded into chaos. Denise struck back with allegations that turned their divorce into a front-page scandal. She accused Aaron of repeatedly abusing her throughout their 7-year marriage, painting a picture of private torment hidden beneath their public smiles. Those accusations weren't just words, they came with a request for a domestic violence restraining order. And the court agreed, granting Denise temporary protection while the case moved forward. That order quickly became the weapon at the heart of this war. It barred Aaron from coming near Denise and gave her the right to reclaim personal belongings from one of their shared homes. The details included her late mother's items, her own property, and most painfully, their dogs. Suddenly, this wasn't just a divorce. It was a fight for safety, control, and even family pets. Aaron didn't take the accusations quietly. He fired back, calling Denise's claims completely false and deeply hurtful. He denied being abusive, insisted he wasn't a threat, and accused her of twisting reality for leverage. But the restraining order meant that, at least in the eyes of the court, Denise's fears carried enough weight to change the rules of their split. From that moment on, every hearing, every filing, every media leak became a new battle in a war that was no longer about love lost. It was about survival, credibility, and control. If the divorce filing lit the spark, the restraining order drama poured gasoline on the fire. Denise Richards wasn't content with simply keeping her distance. She accused Phypers of going far beyond emotional cruelty. In her filings, she claimed he harassed her even after the court put boundaries in place, crossing lines that left her feeling unsafe and violated. One of the most shocking accusations? Denise alleged that Aaron stole her personal laptop and an old cell phone, devices she said contained sensitive information that could be used against her. For Denise, it wasn't just about property, it was about privacy, reputation, and the fear that her personal life could be exposed at any moment. The court took her concerns seriously. Judges granted her access to one of the couple's shared residences, giving her the right to retrieve not only her belongings, but also her late mother's items and her beloved dogs. At the same time, Aaron was ordered to stay 100 yards away, a clear signal that the court was prioritizing Denise's safety and peace of mind. Aaron, however, flatly denied it all. He insisted he didn't have any stolen property and dismissed her claims with a biting remark. Nothing was stolen, and nothing is missing except perhaps Miss Richards' moral compass. That single line made headlines, turning what should have been a private legal matter into a very public war of words. Suddenly, this wasn't just a fight over possessions. It was emotional warfare, where every accusation came with a counterattack, and every court order became another round in a bitter Hollywood battle that showed no signs of slowing down. Just when it seemed Denise Richards had taken control of the narrative, Aaron Phypers launched a counterattack that shocked even those who thought they'd seen it all. Instead of retreating under the weight of abuse allegations and restraining orders, Aaron came forward with his own explosive claims, painting a picture of Denise that was far from the victim she portrayed. According to Aaron, Denise wasn't just unfaithful. He alleged she cheated on him earlier this year, carrying on a secret relationship behind his back. But his accusations didn't stop there. He claimed she physically lashed out at him, scratching him during arguments, hitting him, and even smashing his phone in fits of rage. These weren't quiet accusations whispered in private. Aaron made sure they reached the public, flipping the script and casting doubt on Denise's carefully built image. And then came the most damaging claim of all. In a letter to friends and family, Aaron accused Denise of struggling with a Vicodin addiction for more than 20 years. He alleged that she often passed out from substances, put herself and others in danger, including while driving with her daughter, Eloise, and had long refused to seek real help. To those close to the situation, the letter read like a plea for an intervention, but to Denise's supporters, it looked like character assassination at its worst. Denise's camp immediately hit back. Her attorney labeled Aaron's statements as nothing more than harassment and manipulation, accusing him of weaponizing private struggles, real or fabricated, for his own gain. What was once a divorce had now escalated into a war of credibility. Was Denise the abused spouse fighting for freedom, or was Aaron the wronged husband exposing a Hollywood star's hidden demons? For fans, the lines were beginning to blur. By early August, the divorce saga had spilled out of courtrooms and into the streets literally. On August 3 RD, sheriff's deputies were called to the couple's Calabasas property after Denise Richards showed up, determined to retrieve her dogs. The problem? Aaron Phypers was living there with his family, and Denise's restraining order against him complicated everything. What sparked the confrontation was perhaps the most heartbreaking accusation yet. Denise claimed she learned Aaron had put down one of her dogs without her permission. To her, it wasn't just a betrayal, it was the ultimate violation of trust. In a sworn filing, her attorney stated that Denise only entered the home after confirming Aaron wasn't present, desperate to save the pets she believed were in danger. Aaron, of course, denied the story. He insisted Denise hadn't cared for the animals in years, claiming she had no involvement in their lives and rarely even acknowledged them. To him, her sudden interest in the dogs was less about love and more about manipulation. The dog drama became just one layer of a much bigger problem. Court papers revealed unpaid rent on the Calabasas property, threats of eviction, and allegations that Aaron and his family had left the home in a state of disarray. Denise alleged that her late mother's belongings were still inside and feared they'd be destroyed or discarded during the eviction process. At this point, the fight wasn't only about a failed marriage. It was about homes, animals, memories, and reputations all caught in the crossfire of a bitter Hollywood divorce that was starting to look more like a battlefield than a breakup. Just when the scandal seemed impossible to escalate further, Aaron Phypers reached into Denise Richards' past to make his point. In a biting statement, he compared her current actions to her infamous divorce from Charlie Sheen, saying Denise was playing the same vengeance playbook she had used years ago. For Aaron, it was a way to frame himself as the latest victim in a cycle of chaos. For Denise, it was yet another smear dragging up old wounds to discredit her in the present. The comparison struck a nerve because Denise's split from Sheen had been one of the most public, messy breakups in Hollywood history. The accusations of abuse, drug use, and custody battles over their daughters made tabloid headlines for years. At the time, many saw Denise as a survivor who stood up to one of Hollywood's most unpredictable stars. But others remembered the drama differently, painting her as someone who thrived on conflict and courtroom spectacle. Now, with Aaron echoing Sheen's complaints almost word for word, public opinion was split once again. Was Denise unfairly trapped in a cycle of toxic relationships with volatile men? Or was she, as Aaron claimed, orchestrating another campaign to destroy an ex's reputation while protecting her own? The déjà vu was undeniable. To some, it felt like history repeating itself. To others, it was just another desperate attempt by Aaron to drag Denise through the mud. Either way, the past had come roaring back and it wasn't letting go. When emotions run high, money often becomes the sharpest weapon, and in Denise Richards and Aaron Phypers' divorce, financial battles quickly took center stage. In her court filings, Denise requested spousal support from Aaron, along with coverage for her mounting attorney's fees. But she didn't stop there. She also asked the court to terminate Aaron's ability to seek any support from her, effectively cutting him off before he could make a claim. It wasn't just about dollars and cents. At stake were questions about who really owned what their assets, debts, and the properties they once shared. Denise argued that much of the financial responsibility fell on Aaron, while she sought clarity on her own separate assets and inheritance tied to her late mother's belongings. For Denise, it was about securing stability after years of turmoil. Aaron, however, came back swinging. In fiery statements, he accused Denise of trying to humiliate him, claiming she was using the same tactics she once deployed against Charlie Sheen. And he didn't stop there. He alleged she'd been carrying on a year-long affair, painting her requests for financial control as nothing more than a smokescreen for betrayal. Suddenly, the divorce wasn't just about restraining orders or accusations of abuse. It was about who would walk away with the upper hand financially and who would be left scrambling. The fight over money and power became yet another battlefield, proving that in Hollywood divorces, love isn't the only thing that gets shattered. By now, it was clear this divorce wasn't just personal. It had become a full-blown media spectacle, unfolding in the headlines like a Hollywood script no one could look away from. Every filing, every accusation, every bitter clapback from either side was instantly dissected online. What should have been a private battle between two people had turned into a public referendum, with fans and gossip outlets picking sides like it was a championship fight. And the internet was divided. On one end, Team Denise supporters who saw her as a survivor once again standing up to a toxic man, echoing her very public battles with Charlie Sheen. To them, Aaron's statements looked like deflections, desperate attempts to smear a woman who had finally had enough. On the other side, Team Aaron, those who believed Denise was manipulative, pointing to his claims of cheating, addiction, and emotional outbursts as proof that the actress wasn't the saint she claimed to be. The stakes couldn't have been higher. For Denise, the outcome could shape her legacy not just as an actress, but as a woman who has fought through some of Hollywood's ugliest breakups. For Aaron, his credibility and reputation were on the line. A permanent stain could follow him long after the marriage was over. Meanwhile, whispers circulated rumors of interventions, of friends quietly choosing sides, of private texts and secrets waiting to leak. As the next court date loomed, the question wasn't just who would win the legal war. It was whether truth would come out in the courtroom or if theatrics would decide the fate of this Hollywood tragedy. In the end, this isn't just another celebrity divorce. It's a war over truth, image, and legacy, where every accusation feels like a weapon and every denial lands like a counterstrike. Denise Richards and Aaron Phypers aren't simply dividing assets or signing papers. They're fighting for the stories that will define how the world remembers their marriage. It's easy to forget what's really at stake. Beyond the headlines and sound bites are lives forever altered. There are pets caught in the middle of tug-of-war battles, a daughter whose stability depends on the choices her parents make, and reputations that could be permanently stained by the fallout. What once began as a whirlwind love story in Malibu has devolved into a bitter clash, where nothing homes, memories, even family dogs, is safe from destruction. The next court dates promise more revelations, but whether the truth will actually surface is anyone's guess. Will Denise emerge as a woman fighting for her survival and peace of mind? Or will Aaron's claims prove that he's the one enduring humiliation and betrayal? The drama is far from over, And as the dust settles, only one thing is certain: this divorce will leave scars that no judge's ruling can erase. So what do you think? Is Denise battling to protect herself, or is Aaron the real victim here?